Aye, completing our fourth pillar and the foundation of the 4 pillars of development brings us on now to our individual mental framework, creating the highest performance mindset today. So with the highest performance mindset, obviously the objective is to steer our brain, wire the brain into steering itself out of always with the ants coming in. The ants, the acronym for automatic negative thought syndrome, as you can see. So all the time, every player, the brain is constantly firing, there's a lot of negativity, pressurized coming in, got to win. You cannot force performance, you can never force performance. So we have to create the mental framework. There's other little steps and techniques that we can use as well, is getting the habit of bringing in oxygen, mindfulness. As we say, breathe in positivity, breathe out doubt. So again, questioning yourself, questioning your players, how often do we work on getting oxygen to the body? Again, helping with mindfulness and ridding our body of doubt and those ant fears. So moving forward, how do we create those steps, those 2 foundation steps in order to get into the highest performance mindset? The first step is known as our game face. Okay, what do you want the world to see when you're performing? What do you want the world to see when you're performing? So if you were to question or put out there, if you at your best, your dream game or your 10 out of 10 game, or when you were playing at your very, very best, what did the world see you play? What action words did they see? And again, they can be, so the player was saying, as I was moving, every step was with confidence, with relentless. Again, as the example states there, relentless, calm, confident. Relentless, calm, confident. So every action, then it becomes the coach. Once the coach is starting to become aware of that individual player's chosen set action words and behaviors. If again, so every movement they're looking for, show me, regardless of what's happening. And the example there, relentless, calm, confident. Relentless, calm, confident. We can even take that again into, for example, if you know that the individual player, his icon or hero might be Ronaldo, for example. So again, the action words, so what does it look like in terms of, the example states there, dominant lion Ronaldo. So dominant Ronaldo, relentless Ronaldo. And again, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does the world see when you're embodying, again, confidence? Confidence, for example, what does that look like? And a lot of players may feed back and say to you, well, when I'm confident, my body language looks like this. And the golden key to everything is that the fact is nothing and no one takes you away from the set action words and behaviors. Now, to help with the younger ones, perhaps it might be the younger age groups. It could even be to where you suggest, as a coach, you suggest to them, when I see you play, you play with your cool, calm and collective. So every action you do, no matter what, even if you miss an open goal or a mistake, what are you? You're cool, calm, collective. Cool, calm, collective. Okay? It can even ask them to describe an animal. What is an animal? It could be, you might see them that they're a little bit tentative in their actions. So what is how can you embody a lion? I want you to go and attack the ball. I want you to go and press like a lion. So you embody the animal instinct of going to press, going to play, embody a lion. So again, as the example says there, dominant lion Ronaldo. Those 3 action words or behaviors are permanent fixtures. So as that individual player takes away and they're doing their mindfulness, they start seeing themselves all the time, regardless of the action, regardless of the moment. I am my action, words and behavior. So what does the world see when I'm embodying and my body language and my actions and my intent, and when I'm living out and playing those and living out those action words and behaviors? And again, as it highlights, the key to all this is from a coaching standpoint, a developer standpoint, You have a lot of people, a lot of different players in front of you, from 7 players to 16 players. The appreciation and understanding that each individual will have their own ants, automatic negative thoughts, understanding to embrace them. So how do we overpower those ants? And again, step 1, action, words and behaviors. And once the coach or developer knows those action, words and behaviors, again, it's just observational now and challenging that player. What, show me whatever those action, words and behaviors might be for that individual player, embodying them. And again, repeating that term, that nothing and no one takes you away from those simple controllers of you empowering and embodying those areas. Okay? And then we can go, as we take steps forward onto step number 2, we go into what is known as our match script and training script. Okay, so straight off, there's various different examples. A forward player. Today, I'm going to try. My objective is I'm going to score. That, as we well know, again going back to the starting point, you cannot force performance. Therefore, that is not a controller. You cannot guarantee going in, I'm going to score. What we can do is, again, going back to step 1, embody those action, words and behaviors. Step 2, it can be from a technical, tactical standpoint. So going back as the example of the centre forward or a striker situation, instead of scoring the goals, I'm going to be deceptive in my movement. I'm going to be clever. I'm going to look to create space and then attack the space. As I move, I'm going to move with intent and purpose. As I move right, I'm going to check left, see where the space is. They become desirable difficulties. So after I've got that down to authentically, almost in my subconscious, now the next desirable difficulty is when I go and attack. Now I've created the space, how am I going to run into the space? Am I going to create the space for other people, other players around? It can be, as another example, if we're going to leap to win head to, again, objective, try and win headers, you can't guarantee that you're going to win all your headers. But as I jump, and my technique is going to be spring loaded, when I have my arms for protection, I'm going to jump with intent, and I'm going to jump again like a lion, like Ronaldo, embodying those words. They become the match script. They become, aka very simplistically, your controllers. You cannot control outcome, but you can control the process. You can control the process. And again, it goes back to nothing and no one takes you away from. So step 1, those action, words and behaviors now becomes your job. Nobody takes you away from your match script, training script. And again, from the simplicity of every time I move right, I'm chucking left, I'm scanning. Every time when I do, again, it can even be technical based, going through the testing areas that are coming up on the videos. Every time I turn, I'm going to be checking shoulders. Before I turn, I'm going to use my arm. I'm going to be shoulder width distance in the legs. All of those facets come in. Again, it's all building blocks, desirable differently in your match script. Your match script could be, again, another example could be, how am I going to also now impact others around me, the biopsychosocial. So mind, body and space. It could be as I move across the field, if we're going to be compact, I am going to put it to my authority to make sure that my communication is key with the nearest teammate. So we've got on the ball, around the ball, and we're building the picture up away from the ball. These are all match scripts, all controllers that we always can embody and take forward. Again, some examples of helping your individual players where we go into a session, very simplistically as well. I pose this question: what does a 10 out of 10 training session look like? And those players will tend to feed back to you: maximum effort coach, discipline, listening, effort, a growth mindset individually, right? And then that's from you as players then the question becomes, what do you need from the coach? They need due care and attention. They need the approach for you to be person to player for the team, to create environment driven developer, aka coach. Perhaps that would help them reach that 10 out of 10 session. What does that look like? You can also break that down if you're talking to a player in terms of, if you're helping them through something, and you say, give me a mark out of 10 for your performance. And if they say, oh, well, you know, even if they come to you and give you a low mark, say 5, then you say, okay, well, why so high? Why wasn't it a 4? What did you do to make it a 5? And they will come back, well, my effort was there, I did put a couple of good crosses in. Okay, great, so there's a good starting point. So what would now take it to a 6 or a 7? What does a 6 and 7 look like? What do you need to do, and what do you need from me? So again, I stress the critical importance of a coach, aka developer, aka teacher, is to truly understand intrinsically all the motivation, all the thought process of the individual player in front of them, and then person, player, to impact the team, to maximize the performance environment. So along with that, as you can see, from the developer standpoint, aka coach, the winning is the ability of you as a coach to be able to identify key performance indicator improvements. It could be, out of my team, I'm actually now seeing them embodying a more confident approach. I'm now seeing them as they're moving right, they're checking left, they're scanning, they're taking pictures. Now, the thought process, it could be now the ankle flexibility is better. And again, I reference the technical challenge. I reference the physical performance video on the foundation. So if you can identify one of those example key performance indicators, you as a developer and a coach, you are well and truly winning. Understanding the shoes that you're in as a developer. Just like a teacher, you are developing. You are not developing for today, you're developing for the future game. You're developing for the future game.